on the role of the church in societal development. And of course, I'm not going to be doing this alone this morning. We sincerely apologize, first of all, for starting a little behind schedule. It was due to conspiracy of circumstance. Now, I am not going to be doing this alone. I've been joined by my colleague here.
I'm Moses Ero. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, of course, we have the members of. We have Reverend Father Dr. Kenneth Chibu here in the studio, Diocesan Financial Administrator, Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki, and the Parish Priest St. John the Evangelist, Parish Obaugu, Abakaliki. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, our esteemed audience.
Okay, we also have here in the studio Reverend Father Dr. Joseph Uribo, Director of 12 Apostles College, Diocesan Chairman on Synod. Thank you for coming, Father.
Good morning, listeners.
And of course, we have Reverend Father Barrister Samuel Okorie, the Assistant Director, Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki, Justice, Development, Peace, and Claritas Initiative, CDAJDPCI, Parish Priest, of course, St. Joseph Parish, Odagerida. You're welcome, sir.
God bless you, our dear listeners.
Okay, this program is 1 hour audience participatory program. So at some point, we'll open the phone line for you to join the conversations, ask your questions, make your contributions. The number to call at that time is 0813-593-3112. I take the number again, 0813-593-3112. It's a special edition of Daily Digest, proudly sponsored by the Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki, Justice, Development, Peace Commission, Caritas Initiative, a Peace and Caritas Initiative, okay? Very quickly, let's come to you, Reverend Father Barrister Samuel Okori. This question is coming to you, and we want to know what JDPCI is all about. What does it stand for?
Well, CDAJDPCI,
okay.
That's the full way it's called.
Okay.
Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki, Justice, Development, Peace, and Caritas Initiative. Before going further on what it stands for,
okay, go ahead.
May I see some minutes to thank our Lordship, His Lordship, Most Reverend Dr. Peter Chuku,
okay.
the Catholic Bishop of Abakaliki Diocese. May I seize this opportunity to thank the Bishop, His Lordship, Most Reverend Dr. Peter Chuku, the Catholic Bishop of Abakaliki, for granting us the permission to celebrate our JDPC week this year and to carry on with this program. He is a father that is passionate about good governance and welfare of the citizens. So we appreciate him. Now the JDPCI and what it stands for, this is our diocesan arm of the national body, Justice, Development and Peace Commission. And the Justice, Development and Peace Commission emanated from the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Justicia et Pax, which was established by Pope Paul VI on 6 January 1967. But in the early 60s, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria converted its Catholic Welfare Commission to Justice, Development and Peace Commission in 1976.
Okay.
So now the commission is just one of the 5 units under the Church and Society Department at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, Abuja. So the other 4 units, we have education, family and human life, health and migration. Now it spreads across all dioceses in Nigeria. Our own here in Abakaliki Diocese was initially registered with State Charge, that meaning Center for Transparent Justice and Center for Transparent Justice and Development in June 2007. Going to some challenges, then we re-registered afresh 22nd July 2002 with the name Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki Justice, Development, Peace and Caritas Initiative, under which we have 5 units. And that is the units, we have the Human Rights Apostolate Unit, the Social Welfare Unit, the Peace and Conflict Resolution Unit, Democracy and Good Governance Unit, and Correctional Service Apostolate Unit. So that's the much we can say about the JDPCI. Thank you
for that explanation. In this particular event, which is going to be a week-long activities, and you have here the role as a team, the role of the church in societal development. What is this all about? What are the activities you lined up for this particular event that is going to take a whole week?
Well, we lined up several activities, beginning with sensitization for membership. Sensitization for membership, which we already conducted on Sunday, 7th July, at the Pastoral Center, Bishop Margaret Chaplaincy. So calling for people to join, because this agency is non-denominational and non-tribal, and all that. It welcomes everybody, Christians and non-Christians. In most JDPC, you have even Muslims that will partner with them, because it's all for the good of humanity. So after that, we embarked on market charity outreach. We have market charity outreach, and we have done that, carried out on Monday at Nwafoga Village Market, along Abakaliki Road, under Ezanot government area. Then we have courtesy calls on various ministries. Yesterday we were at the Ministry of Justice, and we spoke at length with the Honorable Commissioner for Justice and the Attorney General of the State, Honorable Barrister Ben Odo. So the fruits of our dialogue will be made public later. Then we will have on Sunday a Holy Mass to be chaired by the Bishop of our Diocese, Most Reverend Dr. Peter Chuku. He has a concluding session of our event. Then after the Mass, we have registration and documentation of participants. Then brief talk on the team again to rehearse what we have done. Then we'll have a first or a maiden diocesan general meeting of all members. And we expect everybody who is interested to be there.
Everyone, like the general public?
The general public that wish to participate in our first maiden meeting, that's a meeting. Business welcome.
Okay, I'll be coming to you, Reverend Father Dr. Joseph Oribu, and this question is for you. When Reverend Father Samuel was talking, he mentioned the fact that there are some thematic areas or areas of focus like education, health, moral enlightenment, and the rest of them. So I would want you to tell us how the impact has been on the society, or maybe a Ebonyi State, in these areas of focus. How has it been since this program was initiated, in terms of impact?
All right. Since we are talking about the role of the church in societal development, and in precise terms, we are discussing about education, it may interest you to know that the role of the church to educate it has been there at the beginning of the church, because in the Bible, in Matthew chapter 28 verse 19, Jesus instructed the disciples to go out and teach the whole world. And that is where the Catholic Church takes her onus of education from, as a divine mandate, more or less. And coming down to our diocese, we will know from history that education, even formal education in this part of the world, came through the Catholic Church. It may interest you to know that as far back as 1914, was a school established in Ebonyi State, around that Fibo area, precisely at Ndibe, through missionaries who were en route through that place. Though the school didn't thrive for a long time, because in 1960 it seemed to close down, but other schools emanated from there. For instance, in 1923, the church began in Abakaliki Diocese, as far back as that 1923. But then didn't begin as a church, but began as a school. Through the instrumentality of a man called Marcelo Keke, who was sent by a priest. Because as at that time, education was a very veritable instrument of evangelization. And so from there, the church entered into education. And now it may interest you to know to have over 300 schools owned by the Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki, including primary and secondary. And then we have been able to make impact in the education and formation of people. That prominent people all over the state, you can't count up to 3 without one who passed through the Catholic education. Maybe I conclude with the fact that even the Director General of BBDC is a product of Catholic education.
Okay, thank you very much, Reverend Father Dr. Joseph. But now I'm coming to you, Reverend Father Kenneth Chibo. Why the choice of this theme? Because was there anything that necessitated you to choose this theme, the role of the church in society development, and how has the church lived up to this responsibility? Because looking at the moral decadence in our society today, when we keep wondering, is the church still existing? Because prior to now, you see that at least there was a little sense of morality in our society, but it's looking like there is none at all. So, marry it together, the role of the church. Now, why the theme, and how has the church lived up to this responsibility?
Listening to you, your question centers on morality, is that?
Yes.
Okay. The church, ab initio, has geared towards enabling people choose the right and not choose the wrong. Morality is just about the rightness or the wrongness of an action. When Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it in full, in John chapter 10, the church, basing its teaching on scripture and the tradition of the church, shares the light to the whole world. But as you know, there have been a lot of factors, from globalization, to consumerism, to relativism, and these are the factors that make it look as though the effort of the church in standing for morality is not pronounced. But it's been there, and it is even there now. If you go to churches on Sunday, you will hear each, or even in catechism classes, teach people, these are what you ought to do, and these are what you ought not to do. You do the right and avoid the wrong. But you can attest to the fact that there is this madness of relativism because of the advancement in technology. The phone, for instance. Somebody will go and post online and say, this is the right thing. People no longer refer to the doctrine, to the light of revelation. So the influence of technology, the influence of globalization, the influence of materialism in the whole society is what makes it look as though the church is not performing. But the church is performing excellently.
Because you also quite agree with me that they always make reference to Nigeria as like a corruption capital of the world. If I've seen, it has been said all over the online. Then again, you also find people say that Nigeria is the most religious country in the world. So these two cannot go hand in hand. I don't know how we're going to do it, but then I think Moses has another question.
Yeah.